On one side of the modern office, you have a professional typing frantically, managing 10 open tabs and racing against a deadline. On the other, someone is quietly structuring a few lines of text into an interface, watching as paragraphs, code, and analysis generate themselves. It raises an immediate question: why are the people working the longest, most exhausting hours suddenly falling behind those who simply appear to be thinking clearly? For decades, the corporate baseline was straightforward: more effort, more hustle, more sacrifice. What if, in the age of AI, the people who win aren't necessarily the busiest, but the clearest thinkers? Welcome to Build a Dreamverse. Today, let's explore why AI rewards clarity. A professional's value was calculated by taking their base level of skill and multiplying it by the visible time and effort they spent executing a task. Work was a measure of endurance. Generative artificial intelligence changed that calculation. Tasks that used to demand hours of manual drafting, coding, or summarizing can now be processed in seconds. The time required for first pass execution has collapsed. When execution becomes nearly instantaneous, raw human effort becomes a commodity. Think about that for a moment. If execution is becoming faster and cheaper, what exactly are organizations rewarding now? Let's look at the evidence. Pouring more hours into a brute force grind is no longer a reliable way to gain competitive advantage. Because of this, executives are starting to look past the number of hours an employee logs at a desk. Visible strain is losing its status as a metric of success. Applying undirected hustle to generative tools can actually create an operational liability. A worker blindly rushing to generate text or code without precise parameters does not produce better work. They simply manufacture unusable noise at a much faster rate. Companies are beginning to place a higher premium on the clarity of the initial output and the human judgment applied to the final output. We can track this shift through workplace productivity data. Starting with a field experiment conducted by the National Bureau of Economic Research, when 5,000 support agents at a software company used generative AI, productivity increased by 14%. The largest gains were among novice workers, allowing junior employees to match the output of veterans much earlier. An even clearer picture emerged from a joint study involving researchers at Harvard Business School, MIT, and Boston Consulting Group. Comparing baseline workflows against AI assisted output, data showed users equipped with GPT-4 completed 12.2% more tasks 25.1% faster. Most significantly, the resulting work was rated 40% higher in quality. These measurable jumps in performance materialize specifically when tasks are highly structured and the human user defines the target with absolute precision. And that's the part many people miss. AI doesn't reward vague thinking, it rewards clarity. To understand how these numbers translate into daily operations, consider the routine workflow of a modern marketer or analyst. Typing a vague command like make a strategy plan returns a generic, unhelpful block of text. The lack of structure leads directly to a result that cannot be used. Achieving a productivity advantage relies on a front loaded workflow, establishing a goal, providing context, setting constraints before execution. Once the AI generates output, the human must verify facts and translate them into actionable business decisions. The delay once caused by manual drafting is clearing, shifting the primary constraint to a worker's ability to frame problems and communicate accurately. The Boston Consulting Group research also defined a boundary for these tools, termed the capability frontier. Inside this boundary, AI functions as a high speed accelerator. But when workers push the system beyond its current limits, the technology can confidently produce false work, misleading the user. Because AI can produce errors with high confidence, machine generated output is only useful if a human has the judgment required to verify it. This mechanical shift in how work gets done is already changing corporate hiring standards. So, this isn't just changing how we work, it's changing what employees value. And if you're finding this perspective useful so far, consider subscribing Build the Dreamverse. It helps us continue creating research driven content like this. And if you think someone in your network could get benefit from this discussion, consider sharing with them as well. You would be helping us reach more people who want to think better and build bigger. LinkedIn's AI labor market update reported a 71% year over year surge in job postings that explicitly require AI literacy. This demand is spreading into cross functional roles for managers, marketers, analysts, and operators across every department. The labor market is actively rewarding professionals who can frame work clearly and collaborate with these systems efficiently. Adapting to this landscape means systematically changing daily habits to emphasize precise thinking over raw volume. The research suggests immediate steps: engineering better prompts by defining context and constraints, breaking large, ambiguous problems into smaller, testable tasks. From there, the workflow requires verifying the reasoning behind every output and refining communication to deliver only decision ready information to your team. The need for discipline remains, but the emphasis is moving away from the undirected grind towards what the research calls disciplined clarity. We have spent years celebrating people willing to work the longest hours, the ones who stayed late, the ones who pushed harder. But maybe the future belongs to something different, to people who define better problems, who communicate with precision, who combine human judgment with technological leverage. Because in modern environment where technology is fast and nearly free, the surrounding noise can be overwhelming. This is Build the Dreamverse. Think better, build bigger.